That's fine. I can work with quiet.
I had you at
Hello.
50%. Let me see what you sound like at
Yes,
100%.
I am now speaking. Hello. Is the stream audio working? Is it broken?
You sound like normal. Maybe a little bit quiet, but not much.
Okay,
I
it
don't know.
sounds like it's working. Okay, I played back the stream. Okay, I fixed it. I don't know what was wrong. I just turned voice meter off and on again.
Voice
It always
meter.
works. Okay,
Yeah,
so
have you tried turning it on and off again?
I did. Yes, and it worked. It worked great. So basically, what I was saying before the stream went all screwy was, Jesus, we've been watching Star Trek for so long. We're finishing our 4th series soon. Voyager Season 6, Episode 1 is what we're on. Season 6. Equinox Part 2, which is pretty good. Survival Instinct, which is pretty good. And Barge of the Dead, which I don't remember if it's good. It might be good. I don't really remember. I know it's the one about B'Elanna's childhood trauma and her mom, and she goes to Klingon hell, but only on like a day trip. I don't remember any of the details really. I mean, I understand that's some detail, but like, what's the context? Why is she in Klingon hell? What is she looking for? What's the trauma? I don't know. What I do remember is that Vaughn Armstrong plays a Borg in Survival Instinct, and he's really good. He's Vaughn Armstrong. He's Admiral Forrest, also Captain Forrest in the Mirror Universe, also a Klingon, Captain Chorus. He plays other people. I think he has more roles, like 3 or 4 more. I have a whole compilation of the roles that he did, but I don't remember what they are. He's really good though.
He played a bunch
cool.
of different aliens in a bunch of different series. He was a Klingon in the
Captain
episode
Chorus.
where the Klingons tried to hijack the Enterprise.
And threatened the warp core with a phaser.
Yeah, I mean, if it can contain a antimatter reaction inside, the metal on the outside should be able to withstand a hand phaser, you'd think.
Well, I think they fixed that later because
plus there's like magnetic containment fields, right? Like, I don't know.
I think they fixed that problem after that episode and put a shield around it. Because later they don't seem to care.
Well, I'd be worried if anyone with ill intentions was immediately next to the warp core in any scenario.
Well, sure, but you'd be concerned if someone was like holding a spoon up to the warp core. It's like, what are you doing? Stay away from the core.
Yeah, exactly. You should be concerned, because that spoon could be anything. It could be made out of anything.
It could even be a spoon.
Yeah.
It'd be trying to scoop out all the antimatter.
Well, so, you know, you aren't allowed to bring mercury thermometers and barometers on aircraft because mercury can it spontaneously alloys with aluminum. All liquid metals spontaneous alloy with aluminum. And they infiltrate the crystal structure of aluminum, and then it just crumbles. So, like, if you spilled mercury on an airplane, you'd risk a catastrophic failure.
It's probably fine.
That's one way to deal with aircraft on the ground. Like, you could, if you were in some type of like asymmetrical warfare scenario, you could contaminate them with liquid metal, and then they wouldn't be
carrying around mercury. Like, we don't make thermometers with it anymore, do we? Who just has mercury?
It doesn't have to be mercury. You can just get a bunch of cryonet or conductonet, like the liquid metal
heatsink stuff
interface. Yeah, it's gallium and indium. So.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you could probably order any of the liquid metals online, some type of chemistry supply or whatever.
Suppose. Also, about 1 minute to what's it called? Equinox Part 2. So thankfully we're going to be getting a previously on Star Trek Voyager, because, I mean, it's been a while. It's been a week, as it was intended to be watched.
No. I think this was a season finale, was it not? You had to wait a whole summer.
Oh God, months.
Yeah, you had to wait like 4 months to see this.
I mean, it feels like how long
Someone
is
find
it
out when
now
it
for a new
originally
series?
aired, the part 1 and part 2, and exactly how long apart. I'm guessing it's going to be like April, September type of thing.
It definitely feels like
Maybe.
we're waiting more than 4 months now for a show. Like
Oh, well, between
not from one
seasons,
Star Trek show
yeah.
to the other, but between seasons of the same show.
Yeah.
Because they're trying
Then
to
they dump all the
cycle
episodes at
4 of them.
once, and what makes it worse is that you consume them all in one sitting,
No, no, you don't. They
right?
only release them once a week.
Certain shows.
I'm talking about
Netflix still
specifically
dumps
Star
them.
Trek and how they're cycling 4 different shows.
Oh,
So it takes for
I
once
gotcha.
one season of Discovery ends, it takes forever to get back to it. Also, everyone should press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. May to September. So that's 4 months. Just about on the dot. Okay,
Yeah, I
Captain
figured it
Ransom,
was right around there.
CGI monsters. Cool. Captain Ransom, of course, has that stereotypical bad guy scar over the eye from his, I don't know, a rock hit him in the
That's
face
not
or something. I
necessarily
don't
a
know.
bad guy. You can have a
Well,
scar
I
and be a
mean,
good guy.
he's murdering aliens for fuel.
Well,
I feel like that
but
makes him
he
a
is
bad
a bad
guy.
guy. But this is not the scar that makes him the bad guy. It's the
No, but
murder.
I mean, come on. It's like that one actor who always plays a Nazi. If he, or that guy who plays Hitler. He looks like Hitler, therefore he plays Hitler. And similarly, anyone with a scar over their left eye is a villain. That's how it works. If you
I
have an
implore
actor who has
chat
a
to
scar, they have to play a villain.
flood instances where a character with a scar on their over their eye is a good guy.
I can only think of one, and that's like Geralt, and
Like
everyone else
He-Man,
thinks
Man at
he's already a
Arms.
bad guy anyway. How many good guys are there with scars over their eyes? Wait, why is what what just happened to Janeway? I don't think the thing touched her, and if it did, she'd be dead, right? What just happened? I don't really understand how these monsters work. Also, this would be an excellent time to install a nice interior defense turret. I feel like we probably should have done that as soon as we learned about the aliens, really. It just could automatically target things and just fire. They have the technology. They could make it
Because
work.
that could that could never go awry and like target the wrong thing, right? Target aliens? Any alien? Neelix?
Yes, I don't see how that's going wrong. That's fine.
Right.
If phasers can be set to automatically target, why do they miss all the time? It takes 4 shots
It
for
is
someone to hit
it
anything.
is heavily implied the targets do have the phasers do have targeting ability and that
But then why are...
they're supposed to somehow know what you want to aim at and aim at them,
It's
which
the
is
same
why you
technology scanning your brain that controls the doors. Starfleet's all about scanning intention. Yeah, there was a turret in DS9, and it didn't shoot a single Cardassian, except in that one edit, but that's not canon. If the
the,
Cardassians can do it, surely Starfleet can. Come on, give us a turret.
that ball that Gul Dukat replicated on the
Yeah,
command deck
the
of the
murder ball.
that was pretty cool.
Though it did have the problem of it never hit anyone. It just kind of fired at random. It was an
I think it
intimidation
was
weapon.
firing at people, but it was just really terrible.
It missed every single shot. Not a single person got phased.
I think someone got hit, and I think it just disintegrated them, actually.
I have no memory of that. God, this is dramatic. They've got to cut soon because they're almost out of hallway here. I gave it 3 seconds. Oh yeah, Rick Worthy's in this. He's cool. Who's that guy? Is that medical officer from the Equinox? Where did he come from?
They should know it's not him because the doctor wouldn't say that now at this point.
What would he not say?
I don't think he says please say the nature of medical emergency anymore. He gets activated because he's so autonomous. Like he just, he's like, hey, what's going on?
He did stop himself and get all sarcastic in the middle, though. That's very doctor.
Maybe, but it was a good catch by the imposter because he knew that would give him away.
Oh yeah, the poor man's holodeck. Did we see it last episode? I remember them talking about it. I don't remember actually seeing what it looks like. But I also don't remember Seven being captured. So, what do I know?
I wish. I wonder if there's a place where we can watch Sliders. There was an episode of Sliders where they're on a world where everybody's wearing like VR goggles, and they're seeing something like they're doing menial tasks, but they're seeing themselves doing something more interesting or fun. Like the guy is painting a building, but from his perspective, he's painting like a Michelangelo masterpiece.
How does that work physically? Like, does the movements of his arm not actually matter?
That's what I wondered when I was a kid watching it. Yeah.
Dude, don't do that. Don't be weird. Oh yeah, it's Balana's ex, the Mr. Espionage, and God, what was his name? I know he called her BLT. Who is this guy? Also, how do they not have the power for the lights? All 3 episodes today are really dark. Not like in tone, but physically dark. Equinox, they
This
don't
one's
turn on
pretty
the
dark
lights
in
on the
tone.
ship. Survival Instinct is in a forest at night. And Barge of the Dead is in hell, which you would think would be bright because of all the fire, but no.
Is Survival Instinct the one with Tuvok
Well, I mean,
and the
Tuvok's in it.
kids?
I don't. No. Survival Instinct is the one with the 3 Borg linked together, or the 3 X Borg linked together.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
they're not mad at Seven, but they're unhappy. And one of them is Vaughn. We'll extract your subroutines one by one. Super easy. Wow. Barely an inconvenience. And I guess he would have authorization to. He's the captain, but what?
Does seem like a dangerous thing to just let someone go and do.
It seems like in general, programming in Star Trek, like the doors and like the phasers, is about intent. Like nobody actually goes and types in code at a console. It's always tell the computer what you want the end result to be, and it works it out. Nobody actually programs a holodeck simulation. It's always just tell the computer.
I have an interesting computer tech problem that maybe somebody out there.
Just tell the
give some
computer what you
insight
want
to.
the end result to be, and it should do it for you.
Yeah, I wish that was the solution. But I have two 980 Pro 2 terabyte drives on a RAID 0 on a X570 Dark Hero using the NVIDIA RAID Expert 2. Sorry, not NVIDIA, AMD, obviously.
Obviously.
And I need to update the firmware, but Samsung Magician can't detect the drives as discrete drives in Windows from within Windows. So I can't update it using Samsung Magician. There's a bootable ISO that theoretically would work. The bootable ISO doesn't load USB drivers. It only uses PS2 keyboard, and there's no PS2 port on this motherboard.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
So
Did you try turning it off and on again?
Yeah, I need someone who can add USB keyboard to the bootable ISO somehow. It's Linux. It's a Linux distribution.
Have you tried
So-
wiping all the drives and installing Windows?
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, that would definitely be. That's what I'm trying to avoid. Thank you.
It would work.
I mean, it's almost certainly possible, but I'd pretty much be starting from scratch. Like, it's the sort of thing I would have known how to do 15 years ago.
So Janeway's going full Moby Dick here, Captain Ahab, but her whale is just a guy. It's always some like monster. It's the Borg, or it's a whale, or it's like a space amoeba. But her, it's just some guy. Oh,
Well,
this
it's
looks
like,
like an intro shot. This looks like it
It's
could
like
be
when
part of a
Cisco
title
was
sequence.
after a guy. What was his name?
Eddington.
First of all, Eddington and the other guy that was his friend in the academy.
Nah, he let that guy go.
The other
That
commander.
was fine.
What was his name?
Commander friend.
Yeah,
Commander
just
friend. Yeah.
I believe his name is Commander Buen Amigo. He was a good friend.
Yeah.
Nice.
I can't believe they named the bad guy Good
I
Friend.
mean, but you don't betray your friends from the academy.
Well, apparently you do.
Didn't you say let him go?
Yeah, Cisco let him go, but I mean,
Yeah.
there was still betrayal there.
A little. Yeah. I mean, he betrayed Cisco.
Is
But
Buen
he-
Amigo a real surname? Or did they
I've ne-
literally
I've
just
never-
translate Good Friend?
I've never I've never had seen that before, and speaking Spanish since about 6th grade. So I've never seen Buen Amigo as a name, and I see like plenty of Spanish names as a result of my job too. So like real people Spanish names.
Just because
not-
you haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
True.
It's impossible to
Sure.
prove a negative.
True.
For you.
Yeah. Not if you don't believe in yourself.
I didn't make the Ahab connection for this. But
She went full like, oh, I will hunt him to the ends of the earth, and I will see him driven before me. It's like, come
Yeah,
on, Janeway, calm down.
I mean, he took 7, right? So that's why we have to follow him.
It's fine. Kate doesn't even like her.
True. That's what I don't think the actress was too upset about losing 7.
Did they not know at the end of last season if they were going to keep Kate Mulgrew on the show? Because that was a very like Mr. Worf fire moment with the alien coming after her. Were they thinking of not renewing her contract? Was she?
That is like a quintessential TNG cliffhanger. Good one, Ryan.
I wasn't joking. I literally do not. Did they actually? I actually want to know if they were planning on not renewing her contract.
They definitely like hinted at it. Like you didn't know if something was going on, but but this is like one of the few times we see, because like, you know, Star Trek started out saying there's no interpersonal conflict, like certainly not within Starfleet, like there's no factions, and so to have a Starfleet ship against another Starfleet ship, like you'd think they'd be happy, you know, they'd be happy to meet each other.
At this point in the timeline, we've seen it already multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and also the problem of evil admirals. Like I'm pretty sure he'd make a really good admiral if he got back first. You know.
I'm a little confused on to how the Ankari are only 50 light years behind them, because it seems like Ransom's been going for quite a while with this drive. Well, they're really close by.
Can we really morally judge Ransom? Because
Yeah, he's committing murder.
yeah, but
I feel like I can judge him for that.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you're trapped in the Delta Quadrant, and you know, if you have to harvest some alien organisms to propel your starship, you know, and you need to get home, you know, like you don't have to be all Janeway about it.
Look, if your car breaks down and someone pulls over and you need their car, they're not willing to give you a ride. You stab them and take it.
Okay, fair enough. It is psychopathic for sure.
You can't just kill people for your own benefit.
Yeah. Oh, this is really interesting. This shows like a holodeck within your brain.
Imagine all the possibilities.
Which we're gonna have soon enough.
We could develop this into some kind of prison system where we make people think they're in prison.
And then they spend 20 years.
Speaking of being in prison, okay, God, I need to watch less Star Trek, because that hill there, I'm pretty sure this is the hill where Captain Picard and Doctor Lady, Crusher, they get like psychically linked and have to escape.
Mm-hmm.
I need to watch this show less. I shouldn't recognize a hill.
Well, you do live in the same state, so you kind of like geographically get a feel for it too.
I live in a very different ecosystem to that part of the state, though. Everything here is like Kashyyyk, or Kashyyyk if you prefer. I don't know what it is in the original Shirwook.
What does that mean?
The Wookiee homeworld with all the high 2-kilometer trees.
Oh, okay, right. Yoda is shown invading it, right? In one of the prequels?
No, he's not. It's not Yoda invading. He's defending Kashyyyk.
He's defending it.
Well, he's not actually defending it. Yoda's just sitting there on a platform watching. The clones are defending Kashyyyk.
Right.
Yoda doesn't do nothing.
He's General Yoda, though.
Unless you're playing the original Battlefront 2, then he does something.
General Yoda of the Klingon Empire.
He's definitely General Yoda at Kashyyyk. The Battle of Kashyyyk. Commanding stormtroopers.
General Yoda on Kashyyyk. General Yoda in the Senate. General Yoda in the swamp.
So, Nova class is an Enterprise clone, right?
No, it's like 20 feet across, dude.
A what is a Nova class clone?
The Enterprise from Enterprise, the show.
No.
It looks kind of similar, in my opinion.
No.
I mean, to be fair, all Starfleet ships look pretty similar.
Yeah. But it's like a cross between a Sovereign and an Intrepid. And it has a little, like, square at the front, right?
Yeah.
Like the Prometheus. Well, yeah, Prometheus has that too, right? I need to stop filling my brain with like starship design because it's like
Just start looking at the hills instead. Look at the set design.
I should watch Birds or something, you know? Like
Birds aren't even real. Don't watch Birds. There's no such thing as birds. God, what? Look at behind Captain Ransom to his right. What is that boulder? Where did
Two
that come
boulders.
from?
That's one boulder on top of another boulder. I'm watching it on a 38-inch screen.
Wait, why did we stop shooting? Are we not trying to kill them? I thought we were trying to kill them.
Both ships are disabled. Never mind.
No, they've got weapons.
They don't have torpedoes. Like, they've been not had torpedoes. There's these people. The Nova. It's crazy that these two ships almost take each other out. Like, our show's almost ending, you know? I think that's what they were also... I think that's what the cliffhanger was about. It wasn't that, like, we're not going to see Janeway again, but maybe the ship won't continue.
I don't understand this. So
imagine we jump to the Nova class. Sorry, go ahead.
The Voyager had to break off for a bit, but can't they like just hang out in a slightly higher orbit and follow them? What's the big deal?
I think that's what they're doing. They are above them like an eagle.
But the Nova just went to warp, and Janeway's not following.
Yeah. How do you go to warp from a planet's atmosphere? We've never seen that, right?
Oh, it's Rick Worthy. We see, with Dragon's Teeth, a war, like, bombarding a planet's surface from orbit.
I say go to warp from orbit. Warp, like...
Warp engine? Inside a solar system? Are you crazy?
Sorry, who's Rick Worthy?
That guy, Rick Worthy.
Okay. He's been in many roles.
He was a Xindi council member.
Yeah.
And maybe a Klingon.
Okay.
I just think his voice is neat.
Great actor.
Except B'Elanna. Actually, wait, does B'Elanna make her own hell? I don't remember. Does B'Elanna actually go to hell, or does she imagine going to hell?
This is like, I think, the start of when, Janeway goes all Nietzschean. Like, she's willing to go all evil if she has to. Like, she's always had that side of her, but she always threatens it and never follows through because the threat is good enough.
Except for Tuvix.
Oh, and yes, Rick Worthy was a Cylon.
The Tuvix thing is not as important to the overall plot as you guys make it out to be. That was a standalone episode. This is I think the Hirogen Nazi thing kind of got to her, Man, she locked Chakotay out.
Jesus, Janeway's going full psychopath here.
Yeah. I think, like, this is not the same Janeway who, like, oh, we're going to let the
I was going to threaten her with the gun for a second.
We're going to let the oh, wow, she's crazy. She was going to feed him to the fissure things? Wow.
Only until he broke.
I don't think that's how that works. Once something starts eating you and takes chunks out of you. She's mad at him too. Janeway's not happy. She's gonna kill Chakotay.
It's been so long since she's tasted blood.
I think
Next time it'll be you in that cargo bay. Oh.
one thing I could say though, the past season or so, they've emphasized that their relationship is they present a united front to the crew, and that's really important because obviously they have to integrate 2 crews. But now they're at the point where they're not doing the united front thing anymore.
Wow, it's almost like we're in season 1 again, where the fact that he's not Starfleet actually mattered.
Yeah, I think, this is... Yeah, look, I'm with Janeway here. Like, aside from the feeding someone to the piranhas thing...
That's her whole thing. What do you mean you're with her, but except for the whole murder part?
No, but if you can't trust your first officer to, present that united front, then, you're going to have a mutiny on your hands sooner or later. So
Starfleet doesn't want officers who will blindly follow orders without analyzing the situation. His actions were appropriate to the circumstance.
No, okay, but she was saying, though, we're going to try it your way, but if it doesn't work, we're going to do it my way. And he was like, no, you're not going to cross that line again. And so, look, we're getting out of the jaws of death here. Good writing. They did really well with this really contrived plot. This Fisher thing is a bit too much, though.
Yes, kill the humans. Sate Janeway's appetite.
I like how we have a translation set up right away. They're from subspace, but they have a lot of grammar and syntax like we do.
I feel like if we just show them our historical database, they would immediately drop that. You wouldn't hurt your own people? That's crazy.
I think if the writers had any guts, we would have lost Voyager and would have jumped ship to the Nova class. And just
I want an extradition hearing with these monster creatures just screeching as the defense or prosecution or whatever.
She's gonna feed the whole crew, huh? Okay, there's something wrong now, because Chakotay is one thing, but now she's gonna confine Tuvok to quarters.
Does it ever happen, even once in all of Star Trek, where somebody gets confined to quarters and it's not the captain going crazy?
Yeah.
Does that ever happen?
I think for disciplinary reasons they do it. Oh my god. So this is Gore.
Oh yeah, Suitor. Suitor got confined to quarters. Yeah, that one was fair.
No, he was in the brig though, right?
No, he was just in his room.
Okay.
Practicing his gardening or something.
This is a nice song. Because there was an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon with a blue hound who sang that song all the time. Oh, my darling Clementine.
Really, this is where Ransom draws the line.
Look, it's a sweet country song. So it brings out the So this is our doctor, right? But without the ethical subroutines?
Yes.
Okay. It's not the Nova class's doctor. who
Well, I
already
mean,
did
they're the
that.
same thing, really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're exact copies of each other.
Yeah, yeah, but we're in this situation where, like, again, like Jordy and who was it? Jordy and Data, like Lore. I
Yeah,
think.
Data, like,
Yeah,
messing with his eyes and dissolving his eyeballs or something.
and yeah, liquefying his brain, basically. Yeah.
He wasn't liquefying. He wasn't dissolving his eyeballs. He was replacing his brain cells with synthetic, I think, positronic brain cells, and he was going to see if they could take over his synaptic functions and then irradiate his original brain cells. So
Yeah, and it had like a less than
Yeah.
20% survival
It
rate.
worked great
so-
in Deep Space Nine. Dr. Bashir did that super easy.
it's like odds are 1 of 3 of you will survive the procedure.
Yeah. But Star Trek is pretty messed up in those scenes because it's like when your best friend does that to you, and then they wake up.
What is he seeing?
He's the manifestation of his own guilt. It's harder to do the murder
is-
when it's
okay.
someone who has a face.
This is like Macbeth's dagger, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Like two people that like basically once you start exploiting one alien race, you start exploiting, your own race.
All alien races?
Yeah, yeah. And then you just become a fucked up person, right? Pardon the language.
Oh.
Oh, he's actually feeling the guilt. He's gonna surrender. I can feel it. Yes.
It's actually really good writing that it's the "Oh my darling Clementine." I didn't catch that the first time I watched this. That that makes him stop being a messed up person, like
Shoot
for
him.
example, I will say, sorry to go back to like the worst thing that ever happened. But the reason the Nazis had to invent the gas chambers was because if you just like their normal way of executing people in mass was you make them dig their own graves and then you kill everyone who dug the grave. So you have a couple hundred dead people in a ditch and like they basically buried themselves.
Even for evil people, it takes a significant mental toll to actually
you
look
can't,
someone in the eye. And
you can't just gun down people every day and just like go home to your wife and kids and kiss your kids goodnight and just call it a day. There's a toll as you said, Brian. So you have to find some way to like kill people in mass without a person pulling a trigger. So I think it's kind of good writing that Captain Ransom here is like has this twinge of conscience in him. Like from 7, okay, 7 is like robotically singing "Oh my darling Clementine." Like how much can you dehumanize a person? Like
it turns out a lot, actually.
yeah.
Come on, Ransom, you're chickening out. Follow through with the plan.
Uh-huh. By the way, the
Captain
Romulan
Ransom actually turning good for a bit. It does kind of remind me of Pirates of the Caribbean. One good deed is not enough to redeem a man of a lifetime of wickedness.
It can be though.
Can it be? Like was Darth Vader redeemed because he did one good thing after murdering hundreds
I
of
think-
children?
I think you can argue it actually. So in Buddhism, there's a great story of it's funny because Buddhists don't really believe in hell, but there was a murderer and he was going to go to hell, but then one day he didn't kill a spider, and he was saved from hell.
That doesn't make sense. What?
It doesn't make sense, but somebody actually offered me a commentary once. It's because he was no longer a murderer, like in his heart. So that's
Did
why
the people he'd murdered before come back to life?
I I'm
What
not gonna argue
happened?
with that part, of course. But there's the idea that look, a person can change, right? Like, obviously, it's not minimal that somebody was murdered, but a person can still be redeemed and become a contributing member of society.
Wait, how is the Equinox actually beating Voyager in a fight? Oh, right, because the Doctor's giving them shield for... Right.
Yeah, of course. That's the
So it's like...
what is it
Voyager has
called?
3 times the weapons. How is this happening?
Transponder codes. There were at least 3 assassination attempts on Hitler. Unfortunately, they all failed. But Germans kind of saw it's going south.
I'm very glad to see someone using the transporter in actual combat for once to do
Yes.
something.
I'll tell you, this is a good episode. Despite the aliens being a little bit too ridiculous,
I do not actually understand how they were able to detect the transport and stop it before the transporter actually locked them in place and transported them. How long does it take to go?
but really good use of music too, by the way. Because again,
Oh. That was very efficient.
He just murdered him.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, he literally murdered him.
One bad deed is not enough to redeem a man of a lifetime of goodness.
Yeah, hold on. But see, the doctor here had no ethical subroutines, so I don't think we're shedding any tears.
But he
He could have just said
it's
deactivate
just
Equinox
like,
EMH.
look,
He's
if
so-
Voyager EMH is a person, Equinox EMH is a person, and he just killed him.
True.
Yeah, that was murder, 100%.
True. But remember, he stole his mobile
guy looks very
emitter,
familiar.
and then he tried to lobotomize Seven. So I don't think we're shedding any tears as fans of the show. Remember, the Equinox crew is just the personification of evil.
I don't know if I would go that far.
True. I mean, but
Desperation, maybe.
Janeway, I mean, they're a little bit past this.
Oh, wow, Max died. I thought the random extra was going to die.
I mean, look, like I said, the way Lore got Data to put Geordi through a surgery that has a high likelihood of failure, mortality.
Isn't there time? Can't Voyager just go to warp? Can we transport Ransom then just leave? Also, how much piloting is there to do? He's just flying in a straight line, right? He's just drifting away from Voyager.
Yeah, inertia. There's no inertia in space, so.
Look, he's not even doing anything. He has plenty of time to beam
There
over. What's
is
the problem?
absolutely inertia in space.
There's no inertia in space.
There's no
Yeah.
drag in space.
No,
Well, there's
no,
a
no,
little
no,
drag.
Sorry, there's no friction.
Everything has inertia, and there is friction in space because
A
space has
tiny bit of friction.
approximately 1 particle per cubic meter. So it's not zero. It's probably negligible, but it's not zero.
It's completely negligible.
Well,
I would
at
say it's
relativistic
completely
speeds, it's not. That's why you have a navigational deflector. Otherwise, so at relativistic speeds,
In
a
this
single
context,
proton
when the Equinox
has as
is
much
just trying to
kinetic
get away
energy
from Voyager and drift away, the
as a
drag is not an
3,000-pound
issue
bomb.
here. He can just leave.
All right. Fair enough, Robo. But fair enough. Fair enough.
Inertia exists
I'm sorry.
everywhere, always.
Wait,
But
no,
I get-
we don't understand what causes inertia. That's kind of a crazy thing too.
Mass causes inertia.
Yeah, but we're trying to
Having
figure out.
mass.
mass too.
Higgs boson. We discovered it with the CERN,
Like,
didn't they?
I don't
what?
I don't
thought they
know if
did.
I buy the whole someone dying redeems them of any evil they've done. Because that's what they just did with Captain Ransom. That's what they did with Darth Vader.
Redemption
Is
equals
that-
death. It's,
There was a
yeah,
chance Voyager would not have
painfully common
survived
trope.
the encounter. So the fact that he ended it ethically.
Wait. Seven suggestion. Perhaps you should enhance your program with security protocols. Does that imply he doesn't have security protocols? Like any at all? Can anyone
He-
just edit him whenever they want?
He has security protocols, but anyone with sufficient access could change it, and she's suggesting that he make it so that only he has access, so he'd be more like, a regular person, sort of.
Well, I mean, it sounds like the doctor can change her security protocols. So, I mean,
Rick Berman wants to know your location.
There's a
I
really
just
cute
meant about
line
the singing.
that was just said about the singing. So it reminds me of when Data said he was tempted by the Borg Queen for 0.63 seconds. And then he dramatically says, for an android, that is nearly an eternity. So here, Seven says, I think when she was undergoing the procedure of having her brain lobotomized.
You'll be accepted. How are they going to serve as crewmen if they don't show up in any other episodes, Janeway?
Well, it just means Janeway's not completely heartless. She
She puts
Why?
them in waste reclamation, and
Yeah,
you
these
never see
people
them
never
again.
show up again.
they changed the biofilters of the holodeck. So Seven says your voice was off by 0.3 decahertz.
Decihertz, 1/10, like 0.0003 hertz, I think is what she said. Which,
So
who cares?
So that's how I think she could tell that he had like some morality when he couldn't like lobotomize her on key. Oh, when did he get back to work?
Just now.
Okay.
She's probably going to apologize for going crazy.
A little bit.
Or she's going to threaten to hang him for mutiny. One or the other.
I mean, he was right because he's a moral guy who always will say the truth. Like, Chakotay's like a moral, spiritual guy. His Native American heritage plays into that. Well, the plaque.
So, which Starfleet captain had the bigger obsession? Cisco, Eddington, Picard, the Borg, or Janeway and Ransom?
Well, Janeway was only obsessed for like 6 hours in universe. So I don't think it's her. It wasn't long term like the others.
She almost destroyed the ship. They could have just left him alone, like, and let them do what they wanted.
I would say Cisco had the biggest obsession because he's the only one who never got over it.
He's the one that poisoned entire planets over it.
Like, he poisoned one planet. Come on, one planet.
One whole planet.
Only against humans, the Cardassians could it's fine, don't worry about it. Also, the next episode is Survival Instinct with Vaughn Armstrong.
Anyone know the Hanna-Barbera cartoon show that did the Oh My Darling Clementine as like the
No?
As
I
no
thought
what?
Robo would know this. He's kind of like
Hanna-Barbera. That had
Oh, yeah.
Oh My Darling
Huckleberry
Clementine
Hound.
as an intro.
Huckleberry Hound would sing it all the time, like in every episode.
Huckleberry Hound.
He would just be singing it. And I just grew up with that cartoon, and I grew up with that song.
This is a hot take. As a child, I couldn't stand Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Something about the
really?
animation turned me
You
on.
didn't like Yogi Bear?
Nope. Yogi Bear, Bullwinkle.
You know what you should like, though? You should like pressing play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Well,
I mean, you're smarter than the average
Scooby-Doo.
bear, Robo.
What else was there?
Is that a Zindi probe? What is that?
Board cube.
It's a Borg ball.
Borg
Borg
ball.
sphere.
And it landed in Dagobah?
Yeah.
I'm looking for a great warrior. Wars do not make one great.
Oh, Vaughn is the first one to get a line. Yes. Oh god, they put her back in this.
Oh my god. They didn't need to.
All right.
Rick Berman, what have you done?
Oh, look at that leg
It's-
shot. They had to give a gratuitous thigh gap thing.
I can't see it because of all the mist, but I wonder if she has Borg heels.
Oh, she absolutely does.
But Seven singing, that's a good plot point. They used it really well.
I need to rewatch Stars episode 5 because it's been forever and somebody said he only does this weird backward speaking thing when he's pretending to be crazy. And I want to check that.
Oh my darling, oh my darling.
No, he does.
oh my
Well, one, no
darling,
singing.
and the
2, I don't
time.
think Yoda sings. That's not really his purview.
I just, I love those Hanna-Barbera cartoons. There was the Foghorn Leghorn, the southern chicken. Sorry, he's a rooster, but he has this like southern rural. I don't want to say redneck because that's a slur. A character to him, and it's kind of crazy that they had a rooster just do like a southerner in a rural sense.
Wow, they made a rooster do a southern accent?
Like a very like, I think they even had some censored episodes where he uses the N word, but that's not neither here nor there. But he's just a very like southern bully character kind of type. And his name's Foghorn Leghorn. He was like he's a Warner Brothers cartoon later.
Hang on, is that planet right on screen? Is that the one the Equinox was orbiting? Is that the one they hid in? I think that's the same planet.
Interesting. We should confirm that.
Because I literally said, oh, this shot of the Equinox orbiting, that looks like a title sequence. I think it might have literally been the title sequence.
Starring Vaughn Armstrong.
It's a very fancy space station.
Yeah, we get a
Very
really cool look.
Stellaris.
Yeah, a very Star Wars almost too. Like the
What is... It's
the
a
sal-
stick with arms?
the saloon scene at Tatooine is like the most, iconic thing. It's just designed to make you feel like so many races and species and robots. Looks like a weather vane thing.
It looks like a terrible game is what it looks like.
It's a sacred game, Ryan. It's not meant to be fun.
Sacred games are not exempt from being fun. Sacred games can still be trash games.
It's true.
I think the Kinbori game looks like trash.
You always play one of those Holy Empires in Stellaris, right? So, true.
I'll have you know, in my most recent Stellaris run, I literally united the entire galaxy in one giant peaceful federation.
This episode was written by Ronald Moore, who, of course...
And how did you unite them
Honestly,
into one giant peaceful federation? How did you achieve that
so
goal?
like half the galaxy were invited. The other half, my allies just like So, okay.
Conquered with violence?
Only the tiny empires were conquered. Most of them joined willingly. The big empires were into it.
You made an example of a few of them, and the rest
We
were like, yeah,
only
okay,
stepped
we
on
get
the
it.
little guys.
Wow.
4 system empires are the rungs on the ladder to success. Don't be afraid to step on them.
We united the whole galaxy into a peaceful federation by force.
Only some of them, most of them willingly joined.
You see the humor in it, though.
Yes, yes. Though I would recommend against uniting the entire galaxy in one peaceful federation, because when the endgame crisis showed up, and everybody's ships rallied in one system to fight them, God, it slowed the game to a crawl.
Oh,
It was so... you couldn't look at the system. There were like tens of thousands of individual ships in one system. Yes, well done, 7. I like that pull back to emphasize. It's a good shot.
She has a very domineering voice when she wants to.
Marsupial surprise?
This sounds disgusting.
Did he like boil a koala? That's why she doesn't like crowds, Naomi. It was, it was traumatizing. Remember that part? Oh, hey, Vaughn. What's up? Haven't seen you in a while. Are those ship fragments or person fragments?
hard to tell with the Borg.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. Ah, synaptic relays. They're person parts. Wait, no, you haven't agreed on anything. What kind of haggling is this? His name is Vaughn, Naomi. Don't you recognize him? He was in Enterprise. Well, he will be in Enterprise. A Bajoran. And what is he? What's the guy? Not... well, I guess Vaughn too. They might be the same species. The only species I'm familiar with that has that central ridge thing that looks like that is a Boolean. And they don't look Boolean.
We've gotten to the point in Star Trek where they have blue LEDs. Or perhaps. I thought I saw a blue LED on one of them.
Different Borg seem to... well, not so much different Borg, but Borg across different series seem to react very differently to being separated from the collective. In Voyager, they just turn back into people pretty much immediately. Hugh basically like shut down for a few days. Picard, they just become totally non-functional for extended periods. I'm not convinced by B'Elanna's new hair. I think it looked better before. Yes, Vaughn's back on screen. Good. What is species 571? Who are they? They're not Booleans. Species 571, looking on Google. Borg designation for a Delta Quadrant race. Yeah, no idea. That's all we know, species 571. That's okay. I guess we don't need to know as much as I would like to. Oh, he has a scar across his eye. That means he's going to be a villain. But he's Vaughn Armstrong. He doesn't play villains. Except, okay, 3/4 of the people he plays are villains, actually. Oh, I definitely understand this from 7. Start a computer doing something that's going to take a long time. Maybe, say, converting all your video files to a different format. Then you just go to sleep, let it run overnight. And once again, 0 cybersecurity on a Federation starship. 7 basically just plugged in a flash drive with a bunch of malware on it. Okay, I'm glad they're at least detecting something. It's definitely going to be too late. Well, My assumption is that whatever these people are planning, it's going to be done before security actually does anything about it. God. Doesn't look terribly pleasant, no, having all those components.
They're harvesting 7 for parts.
They don't want to harvest her. They want to break the interlink, which they can only do by something, but I don't think it's by harvesting.
This kind of foreshadows the what is that, like the Borg Unimatrix 01 or 00, where they all exist in like
Unimatrix
this
0,
idyllic-
yes, which is the weird forest thing where
Yeah,
everyone just
like-
hangs out.
It's like an idyllic forest, massive multiplayer, open-ended simulation.
Is Unimatrix 0 just Second Life?
Yeah. We just hang out in the forest, though.
Wait, so the Borg can eat?
I mean,
Because they never feed Hugh, so I just assumed
It's
he
only 'cause
wasn't
they're-
capable of it anymore.
it's only because they crash landed onto like a planet. Otherwise, they'd have their nutritional supplements.
Beverly says their internal systems replicate the nutrients they need. They need energy.
Wow. Yeah, but this implies they still have digestive systems, which is what goes against what you just read. Did Alex Kurtzman direct this episode?
Because they ate a bird?
Well, like Bordeaux don't have digestive systems. They're like retconning everything.
Oh, poor Vaughn he was just an accountant. How did he even get assimilated? Where was he? I guess just like his whole planet. Marika. Now, oh. Dang it, we got a surname. I was going to make a joke about this being what happened to Marika Bilby.
So this episode implies like the Hugh thing happens a lot more often. They really showed Hugh like he was the only one ever to like break off.
Well, he was the only one the Federation was aware of.
Yeah. But they just says like anytime you have a Borg ship crash land, they don't even like at the beginning of the episode. 7 gives them instructions of like geographic coordinates, and they're like, "Well, the coordinate system isn't working. Like they don't know what the grid is even."
Oh, that's why the starship got assimilated. They were with the night crew.
Yeah.
Does that work? I don't think that's going to work, 7.
I think like at some point it's also out of habit, like where they don't go there.
Doesn't sound like you agree. I feel like there might be some more non-essential interaction.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the episode when they don't know their geographic coordinates and 7 gives them a pair of coordinates, they all say agreed at once. And now they're not agreeing as eagerly.
I think Vaughn is the primary adjunct of the Unimatrix.
When she's
Where 7 is
tertiary.
tertiary.
Yeah, 7 is tertiary.
Also, I'm pretty sure Marika's eyes are open. Right, Janeway, you sure? Because, I mean, they're pretty Borgy. Okay. All right.
And, I just want to note that the only reason 7 was able to unassimilate was because Kess dissolved like this Borg machinery that was like inside her brain. So in theory, no one else should ever be able to live without Borg.
But we've de-assimilated lots of people, like Captain Picard, even before, and all the people on the artifact, and that entire communitive, collective, whatever, and Hugh.
Yeah, but Hugh saw the machinery in him.
Not by the time Picard came around.
I have questions. So Marika was on a Federation starship that got assimilated, sure. I have questions about Bajorans and Starfleet in general, because Bajor is not a Federation world, but a few individual Bajorans joined Starfleet. Do
Mhm.
they? What are the policy? Does Starfleet accept anyone whether they're Federation member or not?
Yeah, that's a good
If
question.
a member of a different species is born on a Federation planet, even if their main species is not, is that fine?
Maybe they just have to be friendly, and then you could apply like foreign exchange student foreign students. Like you can easily get a
Non-member
visa.
races can join Starfleet if they're sponsored. That's how Nog got in.
So
Cisco
about
sponsored
Federation
Nog.
citizenship, are non-members? Does the whole species have to be a member, or can individuals from a species become members of the
I don't
Federation?
know. I don't
Can
think
they
so.
become Federation citizens? What's the deal with Bajorans?
Like, can an individual become a member of the UN? No. So I'm saying no. An individual cannot become a
Well-
member of the Federation.
Another analogy though is that the Starfleet is technically a navy. So can a non-citizen really join the U.S. Navy?
I just
Probably.
mean like the Federation in general. Can they become citizens if
They
they're
can probably
the rest of
become
their species is
citizens.
not?
Yes, I would say yes to that, but I wouldn't say like they join the like you become a citizen of another country who's a member of the UN or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Mhm.
you would have to apply for citizenship to a member state of the Federation, I guess.
Like you become an
maybe-
Earth citizen, then by proxy you become a Federation citizen.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I imagine that you can't just be like I can't just be a EU citizen, can I? Like without also being a citizen of one of the member nations?
So Estonia is a very modern country. They let you have an e-passport, and so technically, you could travel with Estonia if you paid them a fee. And that's really useful for British people because now they've left the European Union, which means they're still within the Schengen area, but they don't have visa-free travel. So one option for Britons who regularly work in Europe, let's say, they can get an Estonian passport, e-passport.
Britain was never in the Schengen area, actually.
Okay, I stand corrected. Schengen is the common border agreement between European countries. That basically, if I was born in Spain, I can work in Germany, and I don't need a visa.
No triangles in scene, by the way.
But we're in a brave new world, where borders mean less and less because economies are global. But how often do like the best Starfleet officers get into a fight at the bar? Is it just like one of the signs? Like, notice Tom has a black eye because he's clearly the better officer.
So the No, they weren't. They were broadening their understanding of alien cultures. Come on, Janeway. Okay, so there's a net and a racket. Is that thing the racket? It's tennis, but you have what I
They arrested the cafe owner?
Oh, someone's been confined to quarters and it's not Janeway going crazy. Yes, we did it.
Okay. See, I told you she's not a bad captain.
Wait, the fight or the game?
She meant the game.
Did she? Because
Oh, okay. She meant the fight. Sorry.
if it's the fight though, why does she even? Why is she into them beating beating up the aliens.
It was a Starfleet versus Kimbori game. I think she's taking like a boys will be boys attitude. And there was no point to that scene except for the light humor.
So, okay, the Borg would not care if people remember being re-assimilated. They just wipe it, whatever. They don't care. But then Hugh was re-assimilated when he was individualized. And that threw off the whole cube.
Yeah.
How does this work? I feel like they might be shifting canon on us between series.
A little bit.
But they wouldn't do that. In my
Yeah.
Star Trek?
Of course not.
Also, remember, Voyager has to make the board weaker and weaker. Like, if you notice the scale of that sphere that crashed into that planet, I think it was a much smaller sphere than what we get in First Contact. Although they do say though that the four that appear in this episode are the ones who survived. So it could have been like a giant sphere for all.
I think there was only 5 people on the sphere. Well, okay. So there are the 4 survivors that we know of, and then they pulled one drone from the wreckage. So there's at least 5, but her name's 7 of 9. Where are the other 4?
Plenty of people can die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my guess is by the scale, it was a smaller cube.
It looked pretty small.
Yeah, so I mean,
it looked like the size of like an apartment.
Yeah, it looked like a shuttle. Really, it really did. I didn't want to be, I'm frequently corrected.
Maybe a camper van.
I didn't want to. Right, I didn't want to overstate my case.
Runabout sized.
I'm outranked by several others here in terms of Trek trivia. She hangs out with you more than her mom, so yes, clearly you're her mom, as far as the show is concerned.
What part of the family? Mother? Sister? Aunt? Daughter? Do you guys think of us all as family? Are we
I mean, I kind of do, but you've already,
You don't let us sing.
Yeah.
Yes, I am the patriarch of this family.
No, but I mean, you clearly let us know not to get. It's just a show. Don't get too many emotions involved. But
so is this why I was always confused why they have so many Borg alcoves on the ship. I know it's because originally they had multiple drones on the ship from Scorpion, but then they like de-assimilated the rest of the cargo bay.
Yeah, but
they left 4
disabled
things there.
the rest of the things.
The
kept
set
the
is
alcoves for
unnecessarily
a spare
large.
because
It
they knew
looks
they were going to
beautiful.
have the kids later, right?
And Vaughn Armstrong.
It's a huge set. It looks great. Like, you get the sense of scale. If it was just one alcove, it wouldn't be quite as impressive. It would look a little bit off. But I want to say, though, on the issue of Seven's family, we watched the episode recently where Dr. Hansen comes as a Borg drone and the Borg Queen just, like, dangles her assimilated father in front of her just to show, hey, we still have him. You can join your papa anytime you want. Which horrifies, of course, Seven. I also want to say I really like when Seven decides to go by Annika. Like, sometimes it's, I think in the holodeck Chakotay that she has an affair with, he calls her Annika or something. It's kind of nice.
Okay, we found Borg drone number 6, so presumably that is the 9-person craft.
Okay.
Yeah.
The others just got scattered around the forest, I guess.
That eyepiece is even bigger than the one we originally saw her with. They just gave her, like, even more uncomfortable makeup to wear. it kind of makes sense because she was a little girl when she was assimilated.
Everyone
Yeah.
else here had a life.
Yeah.
She just had
Yeah, and-
abusers.
and idiots for parents.
But also her
The
parents
Borg were
gave her, like, a
probably an
board,
improvement.
and her parents gave her a board cube to play with, So she was just all she
Yeah,
knows
she was ready.
Wow. It's not like she liked dinosaurs or had a normal childhood. Went to 3rd grade like everyone did.
Also, it's quite possible that the rest of them there had been assimilated more recently than her.
Yeah. She's been
She's in a bad headspace here.
and issuing marching orders for much longer also.
She's upper management of the Borg. If
Yeah.
she de-assimilates, she'll just be nobody.
Yeah, she's a tertiary adjunct.
Do you know how hard she had to be assigned to work to become tertiary adjunct?
And that's why you see her be way more lonely and depressed than anyone else at thought of leaving or being without the collective.
Have we ever met a primary adjunct of Unimatrix 01?
I think Vaughn is the primary adjunct.
What about the secondary adjunct?
I don't know.
And by the way, she's also Unimatrix 001, right? So she was basically like in the orbit of the
hang
Queen.
on. I have information for you. So, Vaughn Armstrong is primary adjunct. Pachan, who's the other dude of Vaughn's species, is the secondary adjunct.
Mhm.
And Marika is the auxiliary processor of Adjunct 01.
And Seven's a tertiary adjunct, of course.
So why is Seven giving orders? Why isn't Vaughn giving orders? He's the primary.
Maybe that's not how that works. Well, it's not how it works because it's supposed to be a collective. So there's no in charge.
Why is
person.
there a primary, secondary, tertiary in the first place?
Because maybe that's their, not rank, but the functions they perform are more important than the others or something.
Yeah.
You will comply.
Wow, it was super easy.
So how do nanoprobes make you more subservient? Like they had nanoprobes.
There it is, primary adjunct.
Something I noticed when we have the Seven as a little girl episodes, her father says when they have a Borg drone and they're looking at a live specimen, he says that we think that this one works close to their queen. And so I'm assuming they were by Unimatrix 01, and hence when they were assimilated, they were just taken onto the flagship. Or maybe every cube has its own queen also. Like a hive.
I feel like when someone's really upset with you, you can't just say they're malfunctioning. I don't think that's going to help.
Mine. They're your nanoprobes.
So she created their own Wi-Fi network.
She was the hotspot, giving them Wi-Fi while they're on camp.
Ah, of course.
Mm.
So they lost their Wi-Fi connection to the collective, so
She gave
she
them
made a
hotspot.
local network. She made LAN.
Yep,
Mhm.
exactly.
Cool.
I've got to disappear, but hopefully I'll see you guys for the next episode.
All right, Clementine, see you.
Mm.
Would they be alive? Are we sure? Is that living? I can't believe there's not a single triangle docked at the space station. I've been keeping an eye out. There are no triangles. What's even the point?
Why is Chakotay staring at her like that?
Because they're having a conversation?
I mean,
People usually talk to each other. People usually look at each other when they're talking.
okay.
However, I'm not sure why it looks like someone punched him in his side and he's clutching himself.
So that is part of Seven's like biggest fear, to being alone. But like, she also will not allow anybody close to her.
Janeway, or Seven, it's okay. You won't die alone. You'll die when the entire ship explodes and everybody on it dies with you. God, what is going to happen with Seven? Because she's totally going to be in the next season of Picard. She's a main character. What is she going to do? Does she join Starfleet? Because, I mean, there's only so much they can do with a non... Well, Picard's not... No, they... I'm trying to remember what actually happened in Season 2, at the start of Season 2. Is Seven Starfleet now?
I wonder. Seven gets to make the decision.
And we can't wake them up to ask? This is a assimilate them or link or sever the collection.
So, why don't they put the virus they were gonna put on Hugh and just return him to the port?
Because that would be genocide, and we're not going to commit genocide for the Borg until the end of the next season. It's way too early to commit genocide.
Oh, okay, we're saving that for later in the season. I can say the Voyager writers, they're doing a pretty good job. The episodes have like little nuances in them. They're exploring the characters pretty well. Like, I think I was gonna say, I felt like today was just a build up to B'Elanna's Barge of the Dead episode, which I really love. It's my favorite Klingon episode. It's really amazing how the show, we're in the Delta Quadrant, we still get a really good glimpse of Klingon culture. I remember learning Klingon as a kid, so it's like really cool to see good Klingon content. We have the Datach, we have the warriors and the songs.
Well, you're swearing on my live stream?
That's the
You
night.
can't use the P word like that.
The Datach.
You did it again. What's wrong with you?
No, I said Datach, not Patach. But even here, so Seven has to show the Doctor, hey, look, like, you're a person, you grew as a program, you added to your character, you added to your experiences, and now you're totally different than what you started out as. So that's your right.
Oh, I never looked to see if Seven was wearing Borg heels. But it's probably safe to assume she was.
Boots make you taller too. I assume
Really?
poor guy.
I would have thought you wanted to go like live alone in a shack somewhere. You haven't been alone your entire life, dude.
Yeah.
Is it just me or does his jacket look really scratchy? That looks super uncomfortable.
They did a good job with his ears.
See, this guy I understand. His whole problem was being constantly linked to people, so he's just gonna go live by himself in the middle of nowhere. It's like, nope, he's done.
You just wanted peace, right? After.
He just wants it to be quiet.
Do you have a log cabin where you can stay at sometimes, right?
To what?
Do you have a log cabin where you can vacation at?
I mean, I hope he does, but
I have a friend in Georgia who has a friend in the Florida Panhandle.
who has a friend in North Carolina?
And they have a cabin in the Florida Panhandle, but it's very remote, very desolate. You know, like, it's kind of cool just to spend a weekend away from people. Yeah, I think she gets it. Like, a month isn't a lot. I'm kind of mad at you for that. I don't think you can blame this person for what they did. That's unfair
So
on
Marika's
Steven.
gonna show up in the next few episodes, right? Until she dies. We get to wrestle with Seven watching her die and everything come in full circle. She's staying on the ship. She could go to Grey Thor with Belanda.
Yeah, Seven definitely grew. Like, she became a mom to Naomi, basically. I mean, Naomi has a mom. She's working all the time. Never makes time.
Yeah, Seven grew, but why has Naomi stopped growing? She had a massive growth spurt at 1, and then she just stopped.
Because the actress only grows at the rate of a normal human, and they don't want to recast the actress every season.
Why not? They've already done it twice.
It's funny because
Babies.
human age doesn't grow as fast the older you
Also,
get.
1 minute to Barge of the Dead.
It's like a logarithmic scale.
Is she gonna be that size for... No, because we see future Naomi. So she's not gonna stay Naomi-sized forever. She's gonna... Honestly, I really would have expected... Once we got 7 in Picard Season 1, I was really expecting Naomi. But she just... No. No Naomi. Maybe next season. Season 3 is supposed to be like a big reunion thing, so maybe we'll get her. But it's a TNG reunion show. I don't know. What I do know is that everybody should prepare to press play on Barge of the Dead in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. I'm pretty sure my main question for this episode is going to be, does B'Elanna actually go to Grey Thor? Does she actually see her mom? Or is this just a hallucination?
But I think her dad goes to hell in this episode too.
Her dad's not dead, though.
Okay.
Do humans go to Greythor or Stovacor? Well, Trill can go to Stovacor, I guess.
mhm.
She's alive for the minute, yes. We'll see what happens.
I like the there's a line in there where the Klingon with the bat'leth basically cuts B'Elanna in half, and he says something like "Le Soj va Greator," it's like, go to hell.
Wait, what? Lana? Who calls her Lana?
Yeah, we never.
Wait, is this? Is she already hallucinating?
Yeah, I think we find out a little bit later, like basically when the Klingon cuts her in half, because obviously we're not gonna have Janeway is giving a toast and Klingons are cutting her down, killing all of our friends. Hey, Ryan, do you
Yeah,
consider
I'm convinced this is a part of the hallucination.
Ryan, do you consider
Right.
us family? Me
No.
and Robo?
So
And
B'Elanna is absolutely unconscious and sick bay on the verge of death right now.
Would you rather Robo take over the show if something happens to you, or would you rather me take over the show?
If something happens to me and this dies,
I know you've said that. You've said that. The show's over.
it dies with me.
Okay. But we're saying me or Robo. Should we lead the successor?
Nobody is in my will.
He can't stop us from carrying on our own independent stream.
But I'm not giving you my password.
No, you just have to start a whole new
Yeah, you can start
one.
your own channel.
And everyone will have to find it.
Mine would be called Ryan's Watch Along. Okay, really great episode plot here. My own petty ambitions aside. So we
Your
find
ambition in life is to start a mediocre YouTube channel that doesn't make any money.
petty me. I know, and have more subscribers than Robo's YouTube channel. That doesn't make any money. So, but only if something happens to you. As long as you're here, you can run all this triangle ship counter and all that. So, really cool part of this episode, we find a freaking Klingon artifact in like the middle of nowhere, space junk, and Chakotay says, "Here, B'Elanna, you could have it." And she's like, "Why are you giving it to me?" And he's like, "No, I insist." And it turns out that it's haunted.
It's a plot item. But they didn't actually find it because this is all part of the hallucination. This doesn't exist. It's not happening. There is no artifact.
Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling.
No singing. Singing is not allowed.
We need to give him a shot collar, and anytime he sings, just flip a switch and give him a little jolt.
We Seven just sang the song as a plot point. Okay, but I'm done singing. And also, I was only doing it through the intro of the show, so we're not missing any plot points. But
So,
this is
okay.
such a great episode. We get religion, we get personal guilt, your mother's guilt, your personal agony at not having been a good enough son
That's
or
been
daughter.
the entire last 2 episodes.
No, but like B'Elanna
Why is everything guilt focused today?
B'Elanna has her own issues, and we explore the character very nicely. I think
Voyager really focuses on one thing at a time. We get like 5 episodes in a row that are all World War II. We get 5 episodes in a row that are about people's traumatic backstories. Everything.
5 episodes in a row about the Doctor and his AI complications. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
They really focus on one thing. One theme.
But I want to say everything about this episode is just chef's kiss. because
Lana, you're absolutely hallucinating.
because like I said, even that shot of the Klingon artifact that was bleeding, like, very unique, very creative, very well done, very believable. Like the scene with the Klingons mowing down our heroes, like, you never forget it. It's just a very compelling episode.
Now, you say that, but I've seen this episode and I have no idea what you're talking about. Therefore, you can forget it because I don't know what it is. I've forgotten it.
I have like 10 years of life on you, so I probably watched it like 1 or 2 more times.
I'm pretty sure I've only ever seen this episode once.
Yeah, I've seen it half a dozen times. I mean, I think the last time we get a story by Ronald D. Moore and Brian Fuller, directed by Mike Fahar. Okay.
It's just a hunk of metal. Why do you care so much?
Like, the last time we get B'Elanna acting so much is when
Whoa, Neelix's line here. Klingons aren't in the Alpha Quadrant. They're in the Beta Quadrant, Neelix. They're a Beta Quadrant species.
okay, this is hilarious too. B'Elanna's not proud of her Klingon heritage. She's trying to escape it most of her life.
Yeah, Miss Turtlehead.
Right. And Neelix is like, I've already have 5 barrels of blood wine. We're celebrating Klingon culture tonight. So she's dreading all. I mean, this is hallucination, but she's dreading this. But the last time we get a lot of focus on B'Elanna is when, first, like I said, when she finds out that all your friends in the Maquis are dead, she's the only one who gives it like a true, like, crying, acting kind of scene. And then later, when she's in the holodeck, just taking the holodeck to like extreme safety levels, because again, she's depressed over her friends being murdered by the Dominion Cardassian Alliance. So now we have this. So I gotta say, I really love what they do with the character sometimes.
I still don't believe any of this is happening, but Tuvok's quarters, similarly to how Voyager just does the same thing for 5 episodes in a row, they apparently also do that with lighting.
Yeah, it's
Everything
pretty
is
dramatic.
so dark today.
Yeah. And he usually does this with Kess.
Not anymore.
Well, he doesn't do this with
We do have
Kess.
one more Kess episode.
He doesn't do this with Kess.
If she hates being Klingon so much, why does she even have a bat? Oh wait, wasn't it a gift? Didn't someone give her the batleth?
Yeah, but like Tuvok is showing it off here, which is kind of like, well, it's not really Tuvok. So
The
this
elegance
is-
of the design, which pretty much everybody has agreed is actually terrible for sword fighting.
But he's like, this is the culture that you're running away from.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. We know this is fake because the Klingon blood wasn't Pepto-Bismol.
True.
Is Tuvok actually going to stab her as part of the hallucination?
He's gonna scratch her cheek. Lacerate is a better term. So he gives her all the Klingon guilt that she's carrying.
Okay, Tuvok, I don't think you're allowed to
Yeah, you don't want-
lacerate your officers.
And then challenge them to kill you. Yeah, B'Elanna doesn't need this. She already has enough issues. This is such a great
Oh yeah,
song.
this camera, the shaking back and forth like it's being handheld, because it is handheld.
Mm-hmm.
That's always used in Star Trek to identify hallucinations.
Great singing in Klingon. Great, victory song about Kalis and his conquest.
Balana, you should probably report him.
Yeah.
That's so not allowed. I mean, Chakotay did one time, like, push a guy out of the chair, but he didn't nearly kill the guy. No.
Great singing in Klingon. We get great. I think that's
It's Live Gok at least. That's nice. Wait, how did he get Live Gok? Because you can't get... The replicator can't make living stuff. We know this.
Right.
So how's it moving?
He says he added something to get it. To give it some oomph.
I'm okay. They actually literally just addressed that. Wow. I thought that was going to be a little bit of retconning, but no.
Don't worry about it, right?
They did worry about it. They just put a kinesthetic agent in and it's fine.
She's hating every second of this. This is really torture. This is hell for this character, by the way. She's already in hell. While her friends are trying to remind her that she's Klingon.
My life with you, Tom, that's the real hell.
Mm-hmm. But I also like, a character's relationship with their mother. We never get that in Star Trek.
What? How many... Wait, hang on. How many characters do that? Riker's his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Data has an interaction with his mother, who turns out is a robot.
Right. Worf's
Picard's
mother makes good food.
Picard's relationship with his mother changes a bit between series.
Right. She just drinks tea and TNG.
But apparently she was... Wait, what did she actually have? She had some kind of mental illness. I don't remember what it was.
It's depression.
Oh, just depression? Just your average everyday mental illness. That's fine.
But his father made it worse by like locking her up or whatever. I love the red lighting. I love the murder scene.
Voyager installed some smart LEDs, color changing bulbs.
So you don't remember this, Ryan?
No, not at all.
You don't remember the awesome duet with Seven and the Doctor?
I remember the phrase "Skral by Tik," which is part of the song, but none of the well. Now I know the context around it, but
I memorized the song by heart.
Yes, stab Janeway.
This is a crazy scene.
Wait, hang on. How is the Doctor hurt?
and well, Neelix is dead though. You're happy, right?
And Kim. Yes, we killed Neelix and Kim. Kim will get better.
So, she's being dispatched to Grey Thor. Wow, it made it look like he sliced her in half.
Oh no, it's the ship when you die in
Hades.
No, I was thinking of God, what's that pirate game? The multiplayer pirate game where people go and kill each other.
Well, I hear you in quadraphonic.
Good.
This is hell. You can't say computer and program.
Sea of Thieves. Yeah, it's that ship from Sea of Thieves where you die and you go to the ghost ship.
Oh, is that Tony Todd? Is Tony Todd one of these Klingons?
No, I don't think that's him.
That's so crazy.
It didn't even do anything.
I mean, it won't take the mark. She's
not really dead. She's only mostly dead.
Mostly dead is also somewhat alive.
God, I should rewatch that today. It's a good movie.
We should do a stream. Princess Bride. Let's do it.
Well, I mean, we could do that at some...
That's a feeling of your life being sucked away.
So, hell is real, but the other thing is that
Greythor is real.
yes, Stovecore too. But
So B'Elanna hypothetically died while she was chasing some probe through an ion storm, and I guess that doesn't count as an honorable death?
yeah,
That's not good enough?
yeah. Oh, this is what I was saying. So in Greek mythology, you go to Hades, right? But before you go to the underworld, you have to cross a river called the River Styx.
The river Styx. Yes.
And before you cross the River Styx, you have to take a ferry.
They call it that because it's in a forest.
Well, you cross the river Styx on the ferry.
Yeah, on the ferry.
And you have to pay the ferryman.
What is Charon doing with all those coins?
And before
Does he rent his boat?
Before you cross the ferry, you have to pay the ferryman.
But why?
In order to, because the coin.
What does God need with cash?
So the coins.
I don't know, but if you go to any church, he always needs more and more of it.
So the point of giving the coin to the ferryman is that you are leaving the
You
material.
hear that, Klingons? Those are the shrieking eels.
So God created everything, right? Created the universe, created all life, but somehow just can't figure out money. Just can't
So
handle.
the point of paying the ferryman is that you're leaving physicality, materiality. So that's why you give the coin, because obviously in the other world you don't need a coin anymore. So
But surely
How do
the
you
way to do
know?
that would have just been to not take it with you in the first place, right?
yeah, but it just symbolizes, like the brand that she's taking. It's the same thing.
So
if you're not really dead,
What happened?
if you weren't dead, you would need money. If you wouldn't need money anymore.
What would happen if you're really just poor, or you just can't go to
Poor
the
people
afterlife?
don't
You're just
go to
stuck.
Hades.
You're stuck on the dock. You're just like standing there, like hoping someone's got an extra coin for you at some point.
Again, the coin is symbolic of material.
Actually,
You're giving up.
have
your
you
physicality.
seen?
But also, sorry, very, 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 very quickly. The scene where that guy gets eaten by the eels in the black water. Odysseus, the Iliad and Odyssey.
Odysseus, yes.
Yeah. So, the thing is that the mermaids, they lure the soldiers into like not getting to their destination, and they look beautiful.
The sirens.
The sirens, thank you. And so if you listen to the sirens, then they're not so nice to you.
Sirens call. Sure.
Yeah. So that's the same thing where they just showed the guy getting eaten by eels in the water. Basically, don't listen to the mermaids.
There's an
So,
interesting.
Look at that. Not exactly foreshadowing, just regular shadowing, I guess. You can't hurt him because he's dead, but B'Elanna just got hurt.
Mm-hmm. You were saying, Robo?
There was a scene in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the Kevin Costner Robin Hood, where Friar Tuck confronts the bishop, I believe, the corrupt bishop who had been aiding the sheriff of Nottingham in his illegal attempt to try to overthrow King Richard, and he catches him in like the church tower, basically trying to escape and like taking all of these bags of gold and stuff with him, and he catches him and he's like, "Oh, here, let me help you pack." And he's like starts piling all these bags of gold onto him, and he's like backing up to the window, and he's like, "And here's a bag of silver for you to pay the ferryman on your way to hell." And he pushes him out the window, and he falls like 60 feet, splats, and all these gold coins just spill out of the bags, and it's a pretty cool scene.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate the ancient mythological version of gods where they're just they're just super powerful people and they're super petty.
You're right. Mm-hmm. Because they're just a projection of the people that
faults of the
imagined them.
regular
so, of
people.
course.
Yeah, like
Right.
Zeus had affairs. Zeus had mortal offspring, immortal offspring.
They're not like
Z-
all
was-
powerful, ultra
he was-
benevolent, all knowing. They're just kind of dicks.
He was promiscuous.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, let's talk about Odin. He literally spawned
Ah, yes, from
something
God
with
of
his
War.
own son, who was disguised as a horse at the time.
it was a very different time.
Yeah, it was a very different time. It was,
Back when
you know,
people had children with horses.
back when people had a sense of humor.
So wait, now we're in the real Voyager now, right?
No, I don't think so.
Because they wake her up with the cortical stimulator.
Yeah, but then are they like gonna kill her again? Because she's going back to the barge.
Yeah. But
Does she see the moon? Does she see the moon out the window?
She's about to get
Remember
real close
Chakotay?
to the bones of her people.
Oh, her mother showed up on the ship already?
Yeah. And it did a dramatic zoom in for like 7 seconds, like we were supposed to recognize her.
Yeah. It's very like you don't know who she is when like as a viewer you don't know who she is.
My god, it's Balsuzak. Who? Punching people?
This
Yes,
is kind
we
of
know,
cool.
Alana.
I want to say I really love this episode because she really embraces her Klingon half. That's what it's about. You gotta love who you are. You can't hate half
Her
of you.
entire character arc is just learning to accept herself as she
Is Balana
is.
asking to transfer to tactical?
But I love how she's convinced she saw her mother because that makes her like, look, I know this is gonna be crazy, but I need you to like kill me.
Hey, I just met you. This is crazy.
No
Induce
singing.
a coma. So I
Fortunately, I have a mute button.
I didn't actually have a way to end that either. So thankfully you stopped me.
Yes.
rhymes with
Yeah,
Thanks for not-
that's kind of how dreams and hallucinations work, Balana. They seem real. So all Klingon engineers go to hell? It's only the warrior caste that gets to go to Stovacor?
Well, if you're an
Yeah.
engineer that dies in battle, you're okay.
This religion sucks.
They
If you're an
established
engineer on a ship and it's destroyed in battle, you died in battle. You were a warrior. That's fair game, I think.
they
right?
established that in the Enterprise episode where they deal with the augments, that Klingon doctors, scientists, they're really not valued in the society. Which is kind of
No, but if you were a scientist, see, like an engineer has a combat application. She's keeping the battleship running. You know?
well, I mean, an engineer on a homeworld who develops a new cannon is also keeping the war machine running.
Sure. And if they die in battle, they will go to
No.
Stovacor.
They live on the planet. They're not going to die in battle. They're just
How do you
available.
know? Sometimes
saying.
battle comes to you.
But what I'm saying is though they could have a more instrumental impact on the war effort than the engineer on a ship, and you're saying they're still going to hell.
The real battle is in
Well-
analyzing the fiscal impact of the requisitions.
That's yeah.
A
at
real
least-
battle. I think Worf says it in season 2. The real battle is within.
Yeah.
So do therapists go to Stovacor? Klingon
I don't know.
therapists?
No, they're I don't think we have any therapists.
I don't think Klingons have therapists.
They don't know. What
I
that
think they
is.
just have one prescription for everything. Go fight. Go fight it out.
go punch a pillow.
Go on the holodeck and beat up a skeleton monster for 8 hours.
Skeletor.
So this is the real Voyager?
Yes.
So she's actually going to try to kill
Yes.
herself, but only a little
Yes.
bit.
Yes. She's considering it.
Yes, we are telling you that, Balana. No spiritual beliefs for you. You should get a better religion. What's the problem? We have a child available. Come on.
Well, technically, she was already sacrificed once.
A little bit.
I like how Jane was a
Oh,
scientist,
we should have kept Kes so we could sacrifice her.
and she's not having any of this as a scientist.
Is Kess a child at this point? I mean,
Well, I think Naomi Wildman's available for sacrifice.
did we already get rid of the Borg children?
They haven't even shown up yet,
Okay, so we'll have those kids. You know,
including the baby that never shows up again.
the baby died.
Oh, now we know what happens.
The baby died, Ryan.
No, it didn't. The writers said oh no, they returned it off screen. Don't worry about it. Maybe they sacrificed the child.
I think it's a really interesting component of like Balana's character, that like she really needs to do this. Like,
Does she though?
I mean, in her head though, she needs to do this as a character.
How many episodes does Balana have to confront and resolve her childhood trauma, only to a little bit later discover more childhood trauma?
It seems like it's the only thing the writers could come up with for her.
I mean, Deep Space Nine, having a black captain explored quite a bit of like the whole.
Speaking of Deep Space Nine having a black captain, Sisko had a big thing about racism in the past. It was really personal to him,
Mhm.
which seems to conflict with the fact that he's wildly racist against Ferengi.
Mhm.
Born again
Like, you
Klingon.
can't hang out with that Ferengi child. He's a bad influence. You can't trust those people. It's like, come on, man.
And so, but I just want to say about Balana's character. Balana confronts the conflicts of being biracial. Like, many times you can be rejected by both cultures, especially if you think, America during the 50s and stuff. Like, you don't belong in either one of those segregated societies. You can experience hostility from both of them. I remember Barack Obama, he had an interesting point where, like, he didn't realize that he was, half black, or
But do you know
Black.
Obama's terrible secret?
he didn't realize he was black even until people, like, I mean, it was kind of controversial when he said it, but until, like, people pointed it out to him, like, or talked about him as that colored child or something. But,
His terrible secret is unrelated to his racial
okay,
background.
yes, what is this terrible secret? Sorry.
His favorite Pokemon. It's
What?
Mr. Mime, the lamest Pokemon of all time.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's
and
true.
He said that in an interview?
Yeah. His favorite Pokemon is the worst Pokemon. Wait, did they just freak out about her neural activities failing? Wasn't that the whole point?
Yeah. But the brain's being kept alive.
Can you trick the devil like this? Does that work?
We just did.
It does feel like a lot of religions, fictional and otherwise, have a lot of like loopholes. Like, oh, if we're not breaking the letter of the law.
It's funny enough that you connected it that way, Ryan. That was pretty good. Tricking the devil, because well, this is more like from the Disney's Hercules. But remember Hercules, to save Meg, he like jumps into the underworld, and then like he has to save Meg, and then they try to cut his cord. But he's immortal, right? He's the son of a god, so They can't cut his cord. But yeah, like basically you trick the devil because if you can go back to the afterlife and rescue your loved one, then you brought them back from the dead. But Disney's Hercules aside, the myth of Persephone and Hades also, with Demeter and even Dionysus makes a scene, is where like the reason the ancient Greeks explained winter was because the daughter, the goddess of fertility is Demeter, and Hades kidnaps her daughter Persephone winter, and that's why nothing grows because Demeter is angry that Hades has kidnapped her daughter for those 3 months. And then Hades returns Persephone, and that's why we get spring.
Alana, what are you doing here?
Nah, she's only a little dead. She's pretty much okay.
So, even after your mother's dead, she will still taunt you. Just remember that.
Oh, I know. My mother's gonna drive me crazy from beyond the grave. I'm certain of it.
So, but you don't believe in silver core. Like, all right. I'm not gonna adopt your theology. Sorry.
Why did they have to travel to the afterlife on a boat? Because they just teleported in. Can't they just teleport straight to hell? What's the point of the boat?
So you could do therapy with your ancestors who arrive at the same time.
I just feel like hell could improve its logistics a bit.
I think. Wait, they actually have it where she keeps waking up in Voyager, and then they're like, "Hey, Balana, you're in hell."
Is the barge a sailing ship? As Klingon society advances, do they like put motors on the boat?
Mm-mm.
How does the boat work? What happened to Klingons before the invention of the boat?
It's a good question, actually.
Well, you could say that the barge always existed, and since you don't come back from being dead, nobody could communicate that bit of technology to the rest of the Klingons, the primordial Klingons.
God, you should have killed yourself when you had the chance, Balana.
You are still a disappointment of a child.
So I'm just really curious to how a Klingon woman and a human dude ended up together.
I think. Wait. So there's another back. There's the episode where she talks about being called Turtlehead to Paris. Like she just breaks down with her husband about all her insecurities. Oh my God, mongrel. That's a real term.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I can't believe they use it in the show. But it refers to
What do you mean you can't believe it? It's not a slur. It's just a regular word.
They just called the offspring of white children and black children mongrels.
I don't think it's that specific. I think it's any type of mixed anything,
No,
isn't it?
I don't think this is reference to her mixed heritage. I don't think that's what they're talking about.
Well, it is. She's half Klingon, half human.
So a mongrel specifically is a dog of no definable type or breed.
Okay, right. It's a dog. Gotcha. Okay, but
I think that they're just using that in general because she's mixed with human and Klingon.
Okay. But here's the context in American history. So, racism took a while to form. They didn't just think like, okay, we're going to bring, African blacks are inferior. They deserve this fate or something like that. Poor whites were brought as indentured servants. And so it was always a concern that, poor whites and poor blacks would have children together. So slowly, as we developed the racial theory and the racial hierarchy in American history, the concern was to stop poor whites and poor blacks from having children together. So they would call their offspring mongrels.
I think it's a little more complicated than that, but
Wait,
sure.
look at the gates of hell. The Klingon symbol is upside down because it's the evil afterlife.
Very interesting.
Though how come the gates of hell
Like
have a political
cross,
symbol on
upside
them?
cross.
That's just like the logo of the Empire. That's just a flag. Why is it? Right.
I never
So
noticed
you-
the dragon thing on the edge of the ship like that. It's like
You have to
Puff
walk
the magic
across.
dragon.
You have to walk across half molten rock through the gates into the fire pit.
So they put her in like a very low oxygen environment. Basically, that's how dead she is.
Though, if B'Elanna really wanted to make sure she goes to Sto-vo-kor, Klingons have a suicide ritual. That's considered an honorable death.
True.
Worf tries to do it.
You could always go out the honorable way, a knife to your own throat.
So
Or
it feels like
ask
if
your-
there's ever any
ask-
question about whether you're honorable death, you can just kill yourself.
Oh, now she
Ask
has
your
the brand.
6-year-old son to give you the knife too. You know, make sure you do that. Hey,
Grethor. Yay, she made it to hell.
The first person she sees in hell is Neelix. Of course it is.
do you think there's a hell where we just watch Star Trek episodes one after the other and like we never leave? We're just always streaming on YouTube.
This reminds me of Beetlejuice, ambassador to the recently deceased. The guidebook for the recently deceased, you know,
Oh wow, the Doctor sings in hell.
So are these Klingon demons like that are psychologically torturing her?
So like
a
hell is
Feckler.
me and Robo singing, and you and Michael from the initial days, and there's no mute button. If the stream never ends, we're just singing Klingon, and every scene from Star Trek is Naxotas.
She looks good in the Klingon uniform.
Mm-hmm. They must have filmed these two scenes back to back because that's how they do television.
Oh yeah, there's no way they're redressing the set.
No, yeah, there's a lot. I like how Tom didn't sign on to this, but he just stands by.
Her misdeeds? What misdeeds? What? She didn't do anything.
She didn't embrace her Klingon heritage.
And I
She
guess
didn't live
that's the whole problem. She
honorable
didn't do
life.
anything.
Oh, so in the episode, the B'Elanna says that like her mother wasn't that irrational, but then she started to get crazier and crazier, and then she just like took her away from her father, and then raised her like to be crazy gung ho Klingon. But he couldn't stand it anymore. But she kidnapped her daughter.
Is she
wait.
being tortured by hallucinations or by demons? Because I'm wondering if there are constantly Klingons going into Greythor over thousands of years. Are we also increasing the number of demon employees to do the torture?
Oh,
Or like some
good
people,
point.
do they have to cycle through?
I think essentially, at some point, the condemned souls become demons themselves, and then they do the torturing of the
Oh, that would
newcomers.
work.
Yeah,
Self-sufficient system.
self-feeding
You'd
reaction.
there would be an issue for sudden influxes, like if there was a planet killer or something, but it's a fairly rare event. They could sort out those logistical issues.
So
Well, time isn't linear, so it doesn't matter, Ryan. They can sort that out. Like on the
It
fly.
definitely was implied to be linear here when they were talking about like, oh, your mother must have just died at the same time as
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
'Cause
she
she's here.
came in like that was the moment of her death, basically. When
It
she
doesn't
dropped from the
need
sky.
to be.
Yeah, but she dropped from the sky. She came in on the same barge, so it was within the same 20 minutes or whatever.
How many barges are there?
That's
How
the
many
big
Klingons
question.
have died in the last 45 minutes? Because there's only like 20 there.
It's a big question. But I want to say before the mother just did her little dialogue now, she was just constantly like belittling her daughter. And now she's like, you have to figure out who you are, what you are. Like before you save me, you have to save yourself. So she's actually helping her. Like she's actually a good mother now.
Wait. Why is her mother in the Starfleet uniform?
Because she's a good
Because
mother
it's
now.
part of the torture.
They were making her think that she was Janeway before.
No, now the eels have weapons. You
You
fool.
harmed them.
There was a really great cartoon called Pirates of Blackwater when I was a kid, and it showed similar. Like there was this oily black water where like monsters would live in, and the pirates would just have to avoid that. Very nice. Look, you can please your mother after she dies.
I don't understand how this religion works.
You have to redeem yourself.
But like, she was condemned to hell. But then they were like, nah, we're just kidding. You can go home. It's fine.
Redeem yourself.
They were just trolling B'Elanna. No, she didn't ask for you, Tom.
okay.
Get out of here.
You didn't ask consent for this hug, but okay.
Well, she let her do her vision quest.
Why is Voyager animating at like 10 FPS here?
Because it was probably a faster shot and they slowed it down.
Best
And they thought
episode
nobody would really care.
of the day.
I care.
Yeah, it was moving faster than they needed it to, so they just were like, yeah, cut the
Just
frame
have
rate.
the
Yeah, it's fine.
Sure, why not? Whatever, it's fine. Okay, so those were some episodes, some of which I'm still confused on.
Some were okay.
I mean, Equinox and Survival Instinct are good. Barge of the Dead, I think, was actually good. It's just confusing from a, like, I don't
Real life.
understand how their religion works.
The mechanics of the religion.
Yeah, how is that real?
But I feel like that's the case for a lot of religions, fictional and non-fictional. I just don't really understand how they work mechanically.
Yeah.
Like what's the...
Like in
This is
Judeo-Christian.
basically like Valhalla and...
Mhm.
What's the other one? What's the bad one? Helheim?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And remember, there was a cursed artifact at the beginning, which is kind of cool. So.
Except, no, it was fake, though. It was just part of the dream. I don't know. Okay, so, next week, nothing. No stream next week. The week after, February 19th, is at least, actually 2 excellent episodes, and one of which is weird. Tinker,
Why is
Tenor,
there no
Doctor,
stream
Spy.
next week?
Because I'm going to be doing something else. I have plans.
Oh.
So, Tinker, Tenor, Doctor, Spy, which is excellent, 10 out of 10. Alice, which is, it's the one where Tom cheats on B'Elanna with a ship, with a shuttle.
Race car.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. And then Riddles, where Tuvok turns very happy for an episode. He gets brain damage. He gets like his mind wiped, and then He basically turns into Neelix, but not awful. And he becomes a baker.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, chat.
I'm not making it sound good, but it's a really good episode, I promise. Riddles is excellent. Alice, Tinker Tenor, Dr. Spy, excellent. Okay, we're done here. Stream's over. The week shall perish.
All right. Thank you.
The higher the fewer.